good one.
That's enough of that, yeah. Welcome back. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the final episode of the Bad Questions, Worst Answers podcast. Each week, I, Connor, along with my friend Charlie,
Hello.
present a bad question to each other. Then, as a group, we attempt to explore these bad questions with the worst answers.
You know, we really got to get that as a group part out because it's just us. There's no group anymore.
Yeah, I keep changing it. I keep trying to catch it, but yeah,
it's us and whoever we can scrounge up before recording time.
All right, before we get into the podcast,
this is big.
This is big. We have a new bit. We have a new segment of the podcast.
I feel like when we present it like that, it's just awful.
Well, then you present it. How should we present it?
I got nothing. Let's go with the new bit.
Guys, we got a new bit. All right, here we go.
Here we go. Bit time.
We're going to start off every podcast with the worst and best part of our week. We just want to get you guys into our lives. We want to get you guys just knowing who we are.
I really like to share my life with random people on the internet.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's why I thought of the bit, is because I just, love airing out my grievances, my personal grievances, my family grievances, all out onto
You know
the
whose
internet.
advice I want, Connor, when I have a problem in life? The YouTube comments section.
It's a great place.
It's a great group of guys down there.
It really is. I started one of my videos, I believe it was the... I see Minecraft and the video ends. I talked in Spanish at the beginning of the video, and this dude comments down in Spanish in the comments, and he's giving me this whole paragraph just telling me all about himself. I'm loving it. I'm responding. I'm like, dude, you're friggin' awesome. Anyway, let's get into what was the we're gonna start off with the best part of the week, and we're gonna end off with the worst, because why not? We end off with the bad. So, Charlie, what was the best part of your week?
Connor, I got a real doozy coming at you this week.
Here we go.
I figure it's the beginning of the bit. We're starting it off. This is going to blow your mind. The best part of my week is also the worst part of my week. Now, if that's not a creative way to answer a question, I don't know what is. I mean, right? Connor's overcome with emotion.
Yeah, that's... You're really laying it on us right here. All right, tell us.
I figured go big or go home in this week one. Yeah. So the best part, and listener, the worst part of my week is that school's over. Which isn't really even true. That's maybe even the best part of the joke. School's over. I'm basically done with class. I mean, I have finals week next week, but that's going to be no problem. It's exciting. This quarter for me was horrible. I hated most of it. My main class as an architect was just miserable and horrible. My course evaluation for the class was 2.5 pages long on Google Docs, single-spaced, and it felt really good to just get it all out.
Sheesh.
Yeah, I wrote my ass off for that course eval. The font was 72, so I don't know if that balances it out at all,
okay.
But yeah. So I'm just glad to be done. It's so freeing to be done with this class, done with that professor, moving on. It was just a miserable 10 weeks for me. So that is fantastic. However, listener, not Connor, it's miserable in the fact that I learned nothing. I mean, I just wasted 10 weeks of my education. I paid this school a bunch of money for an experience that in my course evaluation, I state pretty plainly that I would have rather paid to not have. I would have paid the same money I do for my tuition to not show up to this class every day. It was just awful.
That's awesome.
And so, yeah, it's just sort of miserable that that's gone. Like the money's gone, the time is gone. It's all over. That sucks a lot for me. That's kind of where I'm at.
Yeah, that's awful. A lot of... Yeah, I remember you talked about it to me last week, and you seemed, well, not very broken up about it, but it was definitely getting on your nerves about just school in general. So I'm glad that it's over, but also fuck the school.
Yeah, it's a shame for it to just have been wasted. I mean, this year in my curriculum is like a pretty big one. And so for a third of it to basically just go by kind of feels pretty shitty, like to not get anything out of that. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm it's easy, I think like in the moment it's easy to forget that like this education is the foundation of whatever comes next. And I'm sure in my head it's like it's way more built up now than it needs to be, but still, it's like shitty to think that like this is meant to be this like formulaic, or not formulaic, but like formulating base layer of what I'm going to do with my life. And I just like threw away a pretty significant chunk of it. So that sucks. Anyway.
Yeah, let's just get into my best and worst part of my week. Why not? So probably the best part of my week, getting a subscriber. Guys, the listeners, love you. Could give you a smooch. Yeah, let's give it a clap for that. If I could give you a smooch on the cheek, I would. Honestly, well, with consent, of course. And yeah, I just really appreciate you guys. I last night, we're recording this on a Friday. Last night or the night before, I checked my phone. It was 510 subscribers. Killing it, of course. You know, we're making our way to 1,000 subscribers soon.
The road to 1K, baby.
Yeah, road
That's
to 1K.
That's what we've been calling it for years now.
I know. Could be at the end of the year we could get there. Could be 2 months from now. Who knows? Anyway, checked my phone, 5:10. 2 hours later, checked my phone, 5:14. I almost like...
Jeez, we're popping off down there.
I know, yeah. We're popping off over here at the Connor Moffat channel, BQWA headquarters. It's a great ride. And I just want to thank all you guys who are subscribing, whoever is watching, dropping that like, giving that subscribe, clicking that button to view. So yeah, just the subscribers love, best part of my week.
If you're subscribed to Connor, how about you give this pod a like? How about that?
Yeah, there we go.
I don't know. I don't understand how this really works, but I think
just
that seems good.
Smash the like button if
smash that like button.
Yeah.
Beat that thing into submission.
Yeah, just give it, curb stomp that shit like it ain't got a name.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, probably the worst part of my week, Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is boring as shit. Well, I mean, COVID. Well, even with or without COVID, Thanksgiving is still like, the older I get, the least interesting it is. It just feels like another day, but with like a different food.
Mm-hmm.
And personally, I'm not a big fan of Thanksgiving food. I don't like potatoes. I'm not the biggest vegetable casserole guy. Cream corn, nah. Beets, whatever it is, nah, I'm good. All of that shit, I'm just not a fan of. And seeing the extended family, you know, it's whatever. Take or leave. I'll see him on Christmas. It's not that big of a deal.
Connor, it's always great to hear, you know, what people opposing beliefs. You know, it informs and keeps me educated. And kind of makes, you know, it reaffirms what I believe. It forces me to really have conviction with how I feel. And I got to say, I completely disagree with where you're at.
What?
I think you're wrong. Thanksgiving is probably my favorite holiday. I love the food. I mean, turkey sucks, but you just make a ham, which I did, and it was fantastic.
Yeah, I'm definitely ham over turkey. Turkey's too dry.
Turkey's a shit food. But you just replace the turkey with ham, and you're killing it. I love the rest of the food. I love being able to see my family, and that was unfortunate that I wasn't this year. But you know what I did? I got together with my friends. We each made a couple of dishes. We brought it together. And had a fantastic Thanksgiving. I hate that word.
Friendsgiving.
It's not that you're no longer thankful when you're with your friends. Why does it need a separate word for that?
I don't know. Didn't the show Friends popularize that or come up with it or something?
Really? I hate it even more then.
Yeah.
My only connection to Friends is our mutual friend who only watches Friends, and that's given me kind of a sour taste.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't really give the best impression of the show. Not that it's doesn't really get that great of an impression in the first place. But Yeah. I respect your opinion, though.
Wow.
For me,
See, this is what America needs right now. A couple of guys, a couple of
we're just seeing eye to
cisgendered
eye,
white males coming
lowering the
together.
temperature.
Yeah, well, that didn't go anywhere, but I'm glad we talked about it. Glad we got that out.
Hey, that's just what the bit's for. Nothing too special.
You know, I on the topic of Thanksgiving, I have a pretty significant undiagnosed digestive problem where most of what I eat brings me incredible pain about a half hour after I eat it. Actually, it's not undiagnosed. I know what it is, but it's a long story, so we don't need to get into that. But it connects to my question, Connor. I have a question for you today.
Wait, before we get into that.
Oh, do we have more
What's
to cover?
up with Brett?
Oh, fuck me. What's up with Brett? Look at that. We almost had a good segue, and then you had to bulldoze in there with your What's Up with Brett segment. Anyway, what's up with Brett? Just like Brett, bulldozing in.
Hey,
I called Brett this week.
Ugh.
You know what's weird? For a couple of guys that hate Brett, we call Brett quite a bit.
Yeah, we talk to him quite frequently for how tired and dry the conversations are.
Do we mention that he thought about coming on the pod this week?
We have to. Fuck Brett.
I mean, I kind of just did.
Ditching. Guys, Brett was supposed to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
It was probably going to get worse, quality-wise. Just throwing that out there. So we're probably doing you a favor or Brett's probably doing us a favor by not showing up in the first place, but he may be on next week.
You know what? Cheers to Brett for not showing up.
Cheers. Cheers to Brett. Yeah, so just to prepare you guys, Brett's probably gonna be on in the next week or so. It's not gonna be great.
Don't watch that one. I mean,
yeah, don't. We want you guys to watch the podcast, but do yourself a favor.
Just watch an old episode again.
Yeah,
just watch one of our older episodes.
Yeah,
again.
watch an old episode. We'll know.
We still get that sweet cash flow, so that's all that matters to us.
Sweet ad revenue for all that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I also heard that he's coming back from school on it's like mid-December, so we'll have to wrangle him in for an in-person podcast if he even decides to show up for that too.
Which is such a shame because we've been looking forward to an in-person pod for so long, and then
I know
Brett's gonna be there.
Yeah. It's basically we're gonna be on Discord all over again, but in person because of how just we're gonna have to constantly
stunted the conversation.
Wait for Brett to get the gears turn and respond. Yep. We talk and he just keeps those turning gears going just slow as they can be. Anyway, Charlie, you were gonna say something?
Well, I just I was talking to him about the pod, trying to get him back into it, and you know what he said? He told me the pod feels like work to him, like he's thinking too hard. He's like, I just got to get in the mindset of being around my friends and we're just having a chat. He's like, it's too stressful for me to try and think about where we're taking the conversation, what my next thing is going to be. We're work to him. That's what we are. Viewers, can we have a minute?
That just gets me going, man. We're just a couple guys shooting the shit. That's
just
all
a couple of guys.
Yeah,
a couple of relatable dudes.
Yeah, shooting the shit. You guys are listening. You guys are loving the conversation. It just flows. It's just the dynamic. It works. It's not work at all. It's the opposite of work. It's just free flowing. It's fluid. But Brett somehow likes to overcomplicate things, especially when it comes to conversations. Conversations with some of his best friends, unfortunately, and decides to ruin it all. That's why you guys had probably noticed, towards September, August time when we had those episodes with Brett, how just a slog they were and how much he took time to respond and how much you could just tell that he was wanting to get out because of how much work the conversation is.
maybe we should be happy for him. You know, he was able to find
Yeah.
some friends that he can talk to, and it's not work.
Yeah.
It's not like a taskmaster, you know, driving him along to just be around us.
Yeah, heaven for fucking bid. Oh, whatever.
Anyway, he'll be back. If you see a third video in the thumbnail, don't click. That's what I'm saying.
It'll be Brett. I'll have it in the title. Brett's on, don't watch.
Okay, can we jump into questions now?
Yeah.
All right. I'd like the listener. I'm really calling him the listener today. I'm getting into that. I kind of like it. I'd like them to just go back about 3 minutes in the pod and imagine when I was talking about Thanksgiving and my digestive problem, which is a super fun topic. And now that we're in that kind of state, we're in that conscious thing, I'd like to ask, for me, I would really love to have more control over how my body digests things. I'd love to have conscious control over that. And so my question to you today, Connor, I thought I'd bring one, is what unconscious bodily function would you like conscious control of?
Okay, this is I immediately went to sleep when I heard this.
Ooh, that's a good one.
So like, I think it would be like lucid dreaming in a way. Like, couldn't you, like, if you had control of your... Well, I don't know. Is that too deep? Like, is dreaming a whole nother thing that you unconsciously do that...
I don't know. That's definitely a level I hadn't thought of. I just like the idea even of being able to control, like, how sleepy you are.
Yeah.
Although I don't really know if
parties
that's like
you could get out of with saying how sleepy you are.
God, that's perfect.
Guys, I gotta hit the hay. I'm working up a real snoozer right now. I gotta head out. They'll be like, "Oh, are you okay to drive?"
Doze off?
Yeah, they'll be like, "Oh, are you okay to drive?" Just fine. Get out of the house. Boost those endorphins that you're controlling. You're wide awake.
Yeah, I suppose the ultimate answer is like endorphin release, isn't it? You could just like give yourself happiness whenever you feel like it.
Yeah, you could come all the time.
It's not even what I was saying, but exactly.
Hey, you come and you're releasing endorphins, working out, you're releasing endorphins. It's all over the place with them.
Yeah, those endorphins, they be crazy. I mean, it's tough to keep track of where they're at.
Endorphins be crazy. That sounds like a science class poster.
Yeah, I'd be a really fun science teacher, I think. I think orgasm's worth talking on. I mean, we're a couple of guys.
Guys, don't bullshit a bullshitter. We are men.
just a couple of bros.
And we're gonna talk about it. I'm gonna say it.
We're just two guys. We're gonna get into it. Okay. This is a warning. Not safe for work.
Yeah, and NFSW guys. We're gonna talk about it. The C word, the O word.
Here we go. We're going in. We're gonna talk about it.
Guys, we're talking about it.
So sex. Connor?
Orgasm coming. Love it. Woo!
You know who else loves it? Women.
Who?
Women love cum.
Yeah. They love eating that shit up too. It's
Oh, you want to hear this?
Yeah.
My girlfriend, friend of the show, my girlfriend, told me today that she thinks swallowing is only for hookups.
Where has she gotten that?
I have no idea. Is that true? Is that something you've ever felt?
I've never heard that before.
I informed her that we differed on that particular issue.
Honestly, I don't think swallowing is like what is. I don't think that there's any like. I don't know how to describe it. Like, I don't think there's anything like specific to swallowing. Like, I'm just at this like ATO party, and you know,
this guy's really gonna want me to swallow.
Yeah, he's really gonna want me to swallow. But I feel like the connotation with swallowing is like it's better, like it's more attractive to the dude when a girl swallows. I don't.
Yeah.
That's just what I've heard.
Yeah, I don't think it's really that significant. Like, it's not like a game changer for me.
Yeah.
But I was pretty. I did not understand the idea that it's only.
Yeah,
I
don't get that either. Like, you're hooking up and you swallow. Big whoop. Is the guy gonna remember that? Like, oh, I had this great time where this shit.
Dude,
this,
she swallowed.
Had a one night stand. Dude,
You won't believe
she
it,
swallowed.
Yeah, I was going. She was going hard. I was going. We were both going. Everything was going really hard. Then you won't believe what comes next. She
swallowed.
You gotta really drag out swallow too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's gotta be a 5 or 6 syllable word.
Yeah.
She swallowed, brother.
And then all your boys are like, oh! Oh, shit! She
I can imagine
swallowed. It now. Yeah, I can imagine that too.
Anyway, women love cum, guys love cum, and there's never a bad time to swallow.
Yeah, it's all over the place. Yeah.
That's our pod.
Yeah, the thing he has for coming.
I would not choose orgasming as the unconscious body function I want conscious control of. Obviously, because I have no problem, as it is. I mean, I don't even need that. Not
that I had anything to worry about there. I just probably
everything down here, good to go, brother. Okay, downstairs. Yeah, my digestion is a pretty shit answer. Mostly just, well, it's a shit answer, get that, but it's yeah, we're funny. We have fun.
Yeah, we're great.
It's a kid-friendly show.
Yeah. Oh, that was funny.
But yeah, that's probably my answer, honestly. I think another one that's interesting is your heart rate. I feel like it'd be pretty cool to be able to, like, just, like you're working out, you can just bring that heart rate back down all of a sudden.
Yeah.
That might also kill you. I don't really understand enough.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see how that affects everything.
If you could just be like, we're gonna slow it down.
Yeah, we're gonna break this thing down, baby. Like, I really wonder how that affects, like, your body. Like, I have a naturally, like, pretty low heart rate. I think it's in like the 50s.
Mine as well. A couple of guys with some low resting rates.
Hey, that's why that's why we stuck around for the pod.
We made it this far.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I'm interested in how that affects things. I have no idea. I wish producer Colby was here, but he's also probably out. Yeah,
having a great time on a Friday night. Yeah,
Colby.
Okay. quick fuck Colby.
Yeah,
reeling him back into the pod's going to be a tough one. The viewers can expect Brett, I think, but Colby's going to be a tough game.
Yeah, you don't know. Even though I think he has less going on than Brett, I think it's a tougher.
Brett often has a genuine excuse. Yeah.
Colby's hanging out with his mom. Yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, I wonder how that would work. Like, if your heart rate, if you're working out and you slow your heart rate down, is that just what happens when you die? Like, is that how you kill yourself? Or could you, like, run the best marathon time ever by, like, slowing your heart rate or your metabolism or something like that?
I don't know. Oh, that's a good one, metabolism.
Ooh.
That's an awesome... Yeah, if you could control your metabolism, you could be, like, shredded, like, for the rest of your life.
Yeah, that's probably the real winner. And that could even connect to my digestive one a little bit, couldn't it? That's my new answer. I'd like to be able to control how fast I metabolize stuff.
Yeah, I'm the same way on that. Yeah, if I had that...
You know what makes for good content, Connor? When two guys come to the same conclusion. There's a lot of great podcasts where guys just agree for 40 minutes.
We used to try to come to a conclusion before. Anyway, yeah, when I was
That's
fat...
true. That was my idea.
When I was a fat, chubby boy in middle school, anytime before high school, could have really used that. Could have really used some controlled metabolism to, get shredded.
It's weird that I don't have any, vision for that. It's weird that I didn't know you at all in middle school. Like there's this whole, chubby period of your life that I don't have any relationship to. And I have this whole skinny, shitty loser.
Yeah, I have no idea how. I can't imagine the skinny Charlie. Even though you're still relatively thin, but I
was gonna say I've put on a lot of weight.
Yeah.
I am a big guy. Yeah, I was incredibly frail. I watched I found some videos of me running like a 4x4 relay, like in track. And it's just hysterical. I showed it to my friends and it's like a gazelle. My legs are just these white as white can be, and they're so long and so skinny. And so it's just like two legs and a head, like sprinting along a track. It's great.
That's funny. Yeah.
Yeah.
So speaking of
smooth,
everything that we're talking about.
Yeah, just broadly.
Let's bring it back to the bigger picture, and then hone back in a bit. What's the worst way to say "just kidding"? Now, to preface this question, there's a lot of smooth talk. There's a lot of smooth talkers out there, and
you're listening to two of them right now.
Yeah, you've got two of them in front of you right here. Yeah, there's that, and there's some genuine good ways to say just psych or just kidding or whatever, but man, there are a lot of bad ones, and I feel like this definitely connects to the tone of curmudgeons talk about socialist situations again, which we all love here.
That's really a better name for our podcast.
Yeah, curmudgeons that hate social situations. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, mine was the amount of times I've had this very corny. People are joking about something, God knows what, and they're like, oh, so someone makes a joke, and then they're like, oh, I'm offended, and then they try to get up. And then come back and they're like, just kidding. And then the whole crowd, the whole room uproars. It's one of the funniest things. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, fuck you. It's corny. It's bad.
Because you function at a higher level, Connor. You've just got a higher intellect.
I watch Rick and Morty. They don't.
This is a Rick and Morty viewer we're talking about here. Yeah. I'm not sure if the listener understands, but Connor watches Rick and Morty, and that just kind of puts him at another level. He's not able to compete and understand this base level of comedy.
Yeah.
The stand-up.
Want to study for the ACT? Rick and Morty.
Funny.
Want to study? Yeah, I actually did that.
Instead of studying for the ACT?
Well, first off, I didn't study for the ACT. I had no idea how to. I couldn't afford the courses. So I watched Rick and Morty. I heard it made your head bigger brain, bigger IQ power. Did it work?
Did it work?
No. Took the ACT 5 times.
My God, that's impressive.
Got the same score 3 times. Got the same score twice. Got 2 different scores, but one 3 times and the other 2 times.
Which was the higher one? The 2 or the 3?
I think it was the 2. Still not good score though.
Okay, good. Good to clarify. Could have been a 36. But no. Is that as high as it goes?
Yeah.
What did Brett get? Brett probably got a 36.
I think he got a 34. Are we allowed to say that?
I don't know. People are going to know who he is now. There's only 6 people a year that get a 34. I have no idea what I got. Our friend that watches Friends and has been brought up multiple times on this show, mostly in a negative context, is the only one that knows my ACT score in the world. I would just text her whenever I needed to know it because I couldn't remember it and she remembered everything.
Was it really high?
I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
I'll text her after the pod. Anyway, back to the question. Charlie,
Sorry,
Charlie, thoughts?
I've got to say that I'm well acquainted with the long silence after a joke you tell not quite landing. I'm very, and this isn't exactly, I guess, what you were getting at with the question, but I'm very familiar with saying something you think is really funny and then not really getting the immediate feedback hoped for, and having to very quickly shovel on damage control, you know, like a steam engine that's going cold. Really working it. And I think I've learned my fair share about how to handle those situations. Double down is normally not the answer. I've done that a number of times. Double down on the joke that didn't work. I think
just kills the room.
Yeah, so maybe that's the worst way to say just kidding, is to not say it at all and double down on what you were doing. I don't think, though, that once you've said the bad thing, you can be like, psych, I'm out. I don't think you can pull that off.
Imagine, like, I was saying something extremely racist, and they're being like, oh, just kidding.
You thought I meant that?
Trigger warning, right?
Trigger warning. I think the best way, and I literally am doing everything but answering the question right now because it's about the worst way, but I think the best thing you can do is just try and make it clear that the joke that you weren't saying as an over-exaggeration was an over-exaggeration. Just like, you know, pretend like the joke was way more than you were planning for it to be, and back out.
I think like, that sounded way better in my head than what just came out of my mouth or something like that, right?
Oh, no, don't acknowledge that it was bad. Of course, never give in.
Oh,
never give in. I'm saying, like, once you've said the bad thing, and just be like, instead of letting that be a joke in itself, like, just try and make it the basis of another joke, you know?
Oh, okay.
So once you've said the bad thing, then be like, anyway, that's why I feel this way about this thing, that it makes no sense as it relates to, and then it's just like a silly, fun racist thing you said.
Yeah.
Instead of just a racist thing you'd said. Couple of white guys. Just.
Yeah, we're just. It's getting a little saucy this episode.
Real talk with two white guys.
Important conversations with the majority of the U.S.
Important conversations, yeah, with the majority of the electorate. Nice. So that's the best way, which again is not your question. I think you're right that the worst way is that just kind of duck out thing. It makes me think of all the horrible pantomimes people do, where they're gonna they're like pantomiming jumping out of a car or something like that, and driving along, and they're gonna be like, oh, I can't handle this.
Yeah, oh, jumping out of the car.
I'm jumping. Just kidding. Yeah, never good. Or the dive through glass. I myself have been guilty a number of times of pretending to dive through a glass wall that isn't
I've
there.
never heard of that.
Okay, so that's just a me. I get that. I think the worst thing maybe about all of these is just that they're not committing. If the person actually dove out of the car or actually dove through the glass door, I think then it'd be funny. I think then it would work.
Yeah, I think they actually committed instead of doing like a just kidding bit, then they would be fine. Because I think doing like a just kidding, like doing like a fake out, like a little psych, is probably one of the worst, unless used appropriately. Which I have a story for, which I think is funny.
Whoa. Foreshadowing.
Yeah, we're building
Look
up.
Out, viewer.
Yeah, look out. Tune in. There's a story's coming.
Tune in later in this show when Connor tells his story.
Anyway, I think it's just like the worst scapegoat. It just flattens a joke, and if people think it's funny, if people do like the fake out, like out of the chair, be like, oh, I'm leaving, actually leave or do something, because that'll get a much bigger laugh. Because the amount of times I've actually left the room and gotten a better response, insurmountable. It's dramatic. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to ask. I was going to say, is it funnier if you leave the room? Because I often will leave the... And again, this is tough, viewer, because we're two pretty high echelon comedy guys.
Listener, we're there. Are you there?
It's tough. Look, I'll admit that it's difficult for me to talk about this base level comedy stuff when we are just so much, we're so above it.
Yeah.
It's so distant from where we're at now.
It's hard bringing myself down a peg to come talk about these things.
Exactly. Our meteoric rise through the podcast world has led me to struggle to relate to the normal person anymore.
It's bad.
I actually found myself yelling at a grocery clerk earlier this week, like they were one of our interns.
We got a lot of them, I'll tell you that way.
I just started yelling, I need a better question! I made a real scene and was then escorted out. So that's the end of that bit. We'll cut that there. But yeah, I think walking out of the room, or at least I've always hoped that walking out of the room is good. And honestly, a lot of the times it plays into your hand. This is some inside comedy advice. This is some inside tip. Normally, I'd make you buy my book for this, but on this occasion,
we actually have a 12-step course on comedy that you can buy in the description below.
Comedy in 12 steps.
I'm sure that's actually a thing that you can.
Yeah,
look
it's out
up.
there. I bet you get a lot funnier watching a course on comedy.
Yeah.
I think it plays into my hand a lot, because normally I can use it, sometimes it's with a group I don't want to be around, you know? And if I pull one of these and then leave the room, then I can go to another place. I can go to the bathroom, get some food.
Yeah,
because there's a lot of things that this can lead to.
Because they can be like, oh, are they going to come back? Or did they just leave? Either way, it's funny.
Mm-hmm. It's suspense.
The only thing that I don't like about it, I get a little bit of FOMO. I'm like, I get jealous a little bit. I'm like, are they talking about me? Are they talking shit?
How funny was I, though?
Yeah, how funny was I during this? Are they talking about me? Did I garner any sort of attention? And normally I do, but sometimes I overstay the welcome of the leave. I'll leave for 20 minutes, 30 minutes at a time.
I've come back 2 or 3 weeks later, and at that point it just doesn't work anymore. Nobody remembers. I'm like, I'm back! And everyone's like, what?
Yeah, what happened?
Doesn't play as well.
Yeah, it's something that I used to do it a lot in high school, where I would just leave the room, and people would be like, what are you doing? But the people who actually, you know, who took the 12-step course, kind of are on that certain level, will get a really big chuckle out of it generally. But
they have the information. They need to understand good humor.
You definitely need to be around the right crowd to get a good laugh out of it. But I mean, if you just don't like them, leave and pretend like it's a joke. And just imagine if you were at a party just filled with people, and then like you were just like really in an intense conversation with someone, then you were like, I'm gonna leave, guys, and then like act like, be really like dramatic with your actions and everything, pretend like you're joking, and then actually just fucking leave.
Yeah. I feel like that would not play well. I mean, we don't cover that in the 12-step course, unfortunately. A lot of these nuanced things we leave to the viewer to figure out on their own.
Yeah, the whole what could go wrong isn't really in the 12-step course, but we give
there
you all
is
the
a
right
good
stuff.
FAQ at the end of episode 11, though. So check that out.
We're actually doing a live stream on Facebook a couple weeks from now, kind of just delving into the course, asking any of your guys' questions. So, you guys could step in on that if you want. But
yeah, we'll be there. Facebook live stream.
Yeah.
2 things I love.
Back to the story that we inferred to.
Here we go.
This is a doozy, guys. So I was in New York. If you guys didn't know, watch the New York vlog. Very good vlog. Charlie actually commented on the video and said, more seagull footage, please.
Yeah, I'd like more of that seagull content.
Yeah.
That was good.
It was great stuff. And so I was in line. So give a little context. I was in we were like in Soho or something, and we were shopping, and yes.
I'd like to admit something. I didn't think Soho was in America. You can continue.
I think there's Sohos. I think that's like a little... Honestly, what?
This is another time we need Colby. You go ahead. I'll look into this Soho business.
What is that like? Is it like a neighborhood, or like what is it sectioned off to? Because like in the whole Manhattan, like you're in Soho, and then like you're in the Upper East Side, like you're in the Bronx, like where... Like, what does that classify as?
Oh, it means south of Houston Street.
Well, that tells me nothing.
Yeah. So,
I think there's like a Soho in London or
oh
something.
yeah, it says there's one in London's West End, and I guess there's one in Manhattan. And when I was looking it up, there came up some in California too, in Hollywood and Santa Barbara, I think. So.
Yeah, so I was in the Soho in New York, and they have this pretty bougie Nike store there, and I wanted to go buy a pair of Air Force Ones, and so
don't
like
we all? No idea.
it's a popular shoe, and like so you had to wait in line for like how many people had to go in for because of like COVID or whatever, and so we were waiting in line, and this like bouncer dude was talking about the election because I think Biden won that day. I'm pretty sure.
Oh, that's right. You were in New York when the election.
Yeah, I was
happened.
in New York when Biden won,
yeah.
which is super cool. And he was this big bouncer dude. He was like this like bigger gentleman. And he was like, man, Donald Trump is probably one of the best presidents we've ever had. Like saying it very like seriously.
Yeah, and here it comes.
Yeah, then he was like, and then he waited for like maybe 5 seconds, then he was like, psych! And and he yelled that out, and he was like, yo, if you believe that, you're in the wrong city, bro.
That's 7th tier woke stuff right there.
Yeah.
I mean, that's up there.
Yeah, it was pretty funny at the time. No matter what your political beliefs were, the way he said psych hit the mark.
Anybody that's going to go full into yelling psych, I have a lot of respect for, honestly.
Yeah. You don't really hear psych that much.
It's an older one. I mean, that's an earlier in this millennia kind of a thing, I feel like.
Yeah.
Were you talking to him at the time, or were you just sort of privy to this interaction?
He was just talking to the crowd. Because there were other people waiting in line. So he did a little joke to...
He was just doing kind of a little stand-up set?
Yeah, he's doing a little bit of a stand-up set to kind of warm us up to get into the store, buy some sweet Nike.
Well, they're funny in those Nike stores.
Yeah. They're
they know how to have a good time.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a shame. Did I do it? Did I do it? Did I fix the moment? Yeah, you hate to see that.
Yeah.
You hate to see a guy going all out like that and just kind of misstepping. I guess
maybe. No idea where you're going.
No, not at all. I suppose in a city like that, though, I mean, where we're from, like I'm saying maybe in New York you can say that and everyone is fully aware it's a joke right off. I think maybe you could get away with that.
Guys, I think everyone in New York is so crass, which I love. Everyone is really no funny business. They're pretty like aware of what's going on and like honestly,
great group of guys.
Yeah, great group of guys. Well, everyone minds their own fucking business there, which I love. Like, I'm walking down the street. Well, except in Times Square, like, people are, like, trying to, like, have you make a donation or whatever. Or, like, people are giving you mixtapes, telling you to buy it. That kind of bullshit in Times Square. But, yeah, everyone there is just, like, doesn't care about you, minds their own business, which I love, frankly.
That sounds right up my alley. I love being anonymous. There's nothing I love more than anonymity.
We gotta move to New York.
We can use our podcast money to pay for our rent.
BQWA in New York takes on New York.
I'd be into it. I'd live for a year in New York, I think.
Yeah, me too.
I could do it. I don't know that I'd like it, but I'd do it.
Have you been in New York?
I went once when I was really young.
Oh. That's because I went with Sarah and she was the same way. She went when she was really young, and I think she ended up like liking it a lot.
Yeah, I'd love to go again, and like actually get an understanding of the place.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. But yeah, I think we've got all that we wanted out of that. Out of that question, I don't know, Charlie. Do you agree? We're at like a tight 40. 45 maybe.
I love a tight 40.
Let's just clap it out.
We are good at these endings.
I know. Wasn't it last time you had to go like get something
left.
for your friend?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just left.
A dude knocked on my door, so I called at the end of the pod.
Yeah. I think that was good.